Oh gosh. What's up, party people? We're starting this thing off hot today.
Coming in
Tim, what's
hot.
up?
Nothing, man. Just got a 9. We were just talking. I got a 9-hole round in, so it's a great day. It doesn't really matter what else happens today.
That's fair.
Yeah, it's been a
That's
great day.
fair.
What's going on your end?
Nothing, man. Just realized that my dog was sitting under me and kicked him accidentally. Poor guy.
Oops, sorry, Murph.
Love you, buddy. He'll be all right. Yeah, man. Nothing too crazy. It's been nice down here. Got out a couple times this week. Like I was telling you before, went out on Tuesday, was playing great. Just playing 9 holes.
Riding the par train.
Riding the par train. 4 pars through 4, birdied the 5th, parred the 6th. I'm like, man, I'll tell you something.
This boy did something.
This is gonna be hot. This will be hot. Double, triple to end it.
Hey, man. Sometimes you land cleanly. Sometimes you slide off the end of the runway. It just happens.
Dude, slide off the end of the runway. I slid off a cliff.
Yeah, you hit the hanger going. It's going full speed.
It exploded.
Yeah.
Hey,
man.
Just painful. So I'm disregarding those holes.
Exactly.
I'm just looking at the first 6 and being like, hey, balled out.
Dude, you have it in you.
I got it in me.
You have a golfer in you. You know you can do it through 6. Why not do it through 9?
Yeah, forget 18. But through 9, now we're talking.
Got to start somewhere, right?
Hey,
I'm sure mental coach Morgan will be pleased with this outlook, right?
That's right.
The positives, focus on the process.
Shout out Drew Morgan, the homie out here telling people how not to get stressed on the course. Internal, not external, internal.
It's in there.
Let me tell you, externally, I was cussing out some water, which is the way it goes. So we are Valero this weekend. Next week, the tradition unlike any other, the Masters. Excited about it.
It's fun.
So I think Tiger's playing. I don't see. There's no reason to show up there and not play.
You don't think he would test the waters and just like do a practice lap and be like, "Man, I don't have it in me. I'm going home."
Nah. That's not who does that. Can you imagine Kobe Bryant like showing up to the Lakers and being like, "Yeah, I'm just gonna shoot around, but I don't think I'm gonna play." No, yeah. He wouldn't even go. He wouldn't even travel. If he's traveling, he's playing.
Yeah, I mean, once I read that he was seen walking his home course. I forget where it is. Around Jupiter. He's been walking the course like basically day and night. It's like, all right, well, if he's been out there just like walking, he's in better shape than people think.
He out there walking for fun. Yeah. He probably is. But the fact that he showed up with Charlie, played around with JT.
Yeah.
Allegedly. There's like some weird like ESPN writer who caught all this stuff that shall not be named, like freaking Voldemort over here. That no one knows.
What happens at Augusta stays at Augusta.
Apparently so. I'm going on Monday, so
nice. Make sure you don't run. Make sure you take your hat off where you're supposed to.
Fine.
No running on the grounds.
Well, what if I'm in a rush? If I had to go. When you got to go, you got to go.
Hey, man. I don't know.
Jurassic Park.
So.
Yeah, I think Tiger's playing. So, in light of that, does he or does he not make the cut?
I find it hard to make the cut. I find it hard to see him making the cut just because he hasn't played a lot of competitive golf recently.
Okay. So you're saying under. You're saying he's not making it.
I'm saying under. I'm saying he might be flirting with the cut.
Okay, so
like he could come out. I could see him coming out hot Thursday and then kind of throwing a stinker in, like couple over on Friday, and like just missing the cut.
Okay, I like that. I think that's a fair. I think that's a fair play. That's a fair play.
Yeah. What about you? What do you?
Here's my thought. Every time he shows up to a tournament, everybody else tends to be like, people get like. They get like Tigerified. That's not even a word. Like they're just like they're Twitter-pated by the fact that he's there, and it changes how they play the game.
Yeah, well, the crowds will be following him.
Oh, for sure. Well, I mean,
Everyone.
the last Masters was Molinari, right?
Yep.
Fell apart.
Yeah, couldn't handle it,
Fell apart. And that's
and
what
I
I'm
can't
saying.
blame
So
him.
like, oh, of course. I mean, I would completely shit myself. There's
Yeah.
no questions asked. But I think that that's going to play a role. If he plays after what he's gone through, the accident, he won it back in 19. Like, there's no way he's going to play. Like 6 weeks ago, there was no way he was going to play. He shows
Yeah.
up. I think some people are like, oh my God, like Jesus just came back.
Yeah.
So what's going to happen now? I think he makes the cut. I think he makes the cut, but I think it's at the bottom.
Yeah. I mean, he could just like throw it in and be like, because he knows Augusta so well, better than anyone probably in the field.
This is true.
So he could just throw like consistent like 2 under rounds or like even par rounds, and that'll get you like bottom third of making the cut.
100%. Yeah, I agree with that wholeheartedly. And we I don't know if we're going to get another podcast in before the Masters actually shows up, because normally we're kind of like on the cusp there.
Yeah.
So way too early prediction. Who's your guy?
Dude, I like Scotty Scheffler. I know he hasn't played there much.
Gosh.
But he's hot.
Gosh.
Was that yours? Did I take yours?
Don't take my people.
I'm sorry, but dude, he's impressive.
I think he's riding the hot hand. So the only reason I wouldn't pick him is because of the lack of time there.
Yeah.
I'm digging Johnny Rahm.
Yeah, he hasn't been playing great golf either. Like he's thrown in low rounds, but he hasn't been thrown in like a consistent weekend.
But he's built for that course. That's his course. I mean, he can bang it all over the place that he wants. Yeah. I think that he's a little bit dangerous. I was really hoping that I was going to like Rory a little bit more.
Yeah, he's just not. Like as far as competitive golf goes, Rory's just not really there right now.
He's not today. Watching him play in the Valero, like he went from like 1 over to even to 2 under to even to 1 over. Like he just went up and down, and it was all missed putts. He's just like putt here, putt there. Like it just was driving me nuts. I would love to see Spieth be a little bit more consistent, which last year he was right there.
Yeah,
I don't see him doing that next week.
I don't either. Not right now, unless he shows us something this weekend. I don't know.
And after the match play, DJ didn't. I mean, although he did well, he couldn't putt the last 2 days.
Yeah, no, true.
His last 2 matches, like he just couldn't putt. So that makes me nervous to look at him. Although he's going to have a week off, but I don't know.
Yeah, and he kind of mailed it in, like the consolation match. He just kind of mailed it in, which I totally understand. It's kind of ridiculous, but I get like if you're just showing one 2-person match on TV, it's pretty boring.
And to be fair, Corey Connors was playing out of his mind.
Oh yeah,
He ran into the buzzsaw that was Kevin Kisner.
Yeah.
So shout out Kiz. I freaking love that guy.
Yeah, he's just hilarious. Did you see on the first hole, apparently, or one of the first, maybe the third hole? I don't know. One of the early holes, Scheffler said there was a blind tee shot, basically like you couldn't see where your ball landed, and they walked up. And he's like, I'm colorblind, and we both mark our ball with one line. He does red, I do black, but everything looks black. So he's like, I checked the first ball I walked up to, and Kisner was like, dude, what the fuck are you doing? You're 30 yards up there. Don't ever... He's like, today, don't ever check the first ball you walk up to. Can you imagine?
He fully accepts the fact that he's getting outdriven by 40 to 60 yards every time.
Yeah, he has to. What are you going to do?
I mean, but on short courses, I'm picking Kisner all day long.
Yeah, and match play too. Definitely.
And match play, yeah, for sure. But places like the Masters?
No, not happening.
Sawgrass?
Yeah, not happening. Players, not happening.
No, not even kind of.
Yeah.
Not even kind of. So, yeah, I think, gun to my head, I think I'd probably take Rahm. I'm so nervous to take repeat winners like Scotty.
I know.
Like my heart says take Scotty, but it is so hard to repeat.
I know.
But he has won 3 in the last, 6 weeks?
He has. Yeah, he has.
So, he is playing the hot hand. It is the Masters. It's a little different animal. It's scary. There's a lot of history there. Imagine that being your first major.
No, that's crazy. Like Zalatoris last year, just coming in hot.
I know, but that's the thing. It's being able to maintain that all the way through Sunday.
Yeah, totally.
It's
Totally.
can you do it? So that's why I kind of like Rom. I would like DJ if you've been putting a little bit better recently.
Yeah.
But I'm a little unsure. I don't have any faith in Kepka right now.
Yeah. He's a little too up and down too, kind of like
Yeah.
Rory. You can't count out like a Shoffley because he's pretty much built for that course too. Like,
I agree. Yeah. I also just like Xander.
yeah, definitely.
Who's a dark horse? Like,
Ooh.
20 and back in the world that you're like, I like this guy.
I don't know who's back there.
There's all sorts of folks back there.
There are all sorts of folks back
You
there.
got past winners like the Bubbas of the world. I don't know if they've announced I think they have. Unless Russell Bland wins this weekend, he's in.
Yeah, and then you could count him. He could
That's the ringer.
Make a little bit of a run. I don't know, man. I like Homa, but not at Masters. Like, he tends to not play great golf on those like big stages. I don't think he's made the cut.
All right. So, we haven't mentioned either, but he hasn't played well super recently. He's Patrick Cantlay.
Yeah.
He's not a bottom guy, but we didn't mention his name at all.
No, he was hot at the end of the season, and then he's kind of been quiet early.
I put my money on him at TPC. No luck.
Yeah.
What about someone like Sammy Burns?
Maybe. I mean, he just doesn't have the play. Like, I feel like at Augusta, the play experience is weights so heavily that you have to consider that.
Well, then you could go old man. The Sergios of the world played there 100 times.
Yeah. Sergio's been a psychopath lately, though, unfortunately. Yeah, have you seen it? Like,
yeah,
he's been a little too emotionally labile for me.
What about the guy who's everyone thinks is the next coming of Christ, Victor Hovland?
He could. He's not outside of the top 20, but he
definitely no. Just as a general.
Yeah, he definitely could.
Statement.
He was in the mix last year, I think, too. Maybe top 10 last year.
Yeah, outside the top 20. Oh man,
maybe is Finau down there?
Finau he's been playing awful though.
He has
awful. Where's Louis?
I don't know, man.
I don't think is he top 20?
I don't know. I haven't really seen him playing, so he probably can't be if he hasn't had any finishes.
One would think. There's also the Patrick Reeds of the world.
Yeah, you can never count him out.
No. I actually, you know what? Underrated Webb Simpson.
Yeah, what's his highest finish there?
I don't know, but Webb is always a good option.
He is. He's a solid player.
Right. Well, I'm looking at FedEx Cup standings now. Okay, so let's Scotty, Sammy Burns, Cam Smith, who we haven't mentioned yet, Matsuyama, Tom Hoagie, Tyler Gooch, Victor Hovland, Sungjae Im, Joaquin Niemann. Niemann could also make some noise.
He could potentially. He could. He bombs
Max
the ball
Homa,
around.
Yeah. Luke List, Morikawa, another one, but he's been a little recently.
Yeah.
Justin Thomas certainly is capable.
Yeah, definitely, and he's been playing pretty well. He's been in top. I mean, he's been top 5 basically the last few tournaments. So
you got Kisner, Sepp Straka, Rahm, Seamus Power. I like Seamus Power.
Yeah, he's been putting very well. If he putts well, he could run away with something.
Yeah, Swafford's playing right now, and I think he's playing decently.
Yeah, he is. He's up there.
Haven't seen. All right, so now let's go 20 and beyond here. Let's see if a name sticks out to me. Spieth's 41.
Wow, he's down there. Jeez.
Schauffele's 43.
Jeez. Okay, so then maybe that's my guy outside top 20. Schauffele.
I like Schauffele.
He clearly knows Augusta. He obviously fell apart last year, but
yeah, ranked this week. Yeah, there's a lot of good names on here. Shoot, this dude Anirban Lahiri has been balling out.
He has been balling out. He's not super long, but he can play.
But he's been playing well this tournament again. I think he's in the top. I think he's 4 under right now. Obviously, it's only Thursday.
Yeah. But
Harold Varner the third. I like Harold Varner the third.
Yeah, you could pull something out.
I could see that.
A lot of options.
That can't be right. DJ's 84th right now in points. Oh well.
In points, yeah.
In points, yeah.
That's not necessarily world golf rank.
No. I'm looking just specifically at points right now. All right. Well, who knows what's going to happen? But we've decided that Tiger's going to play. I think he's going to make the cut. Tim doesn't like him.
I don't think he's going to make the cut, but he could. I think he's going to play. Why else would he be there?
I don't know. We'll find out. We'll find out right now at the Valero. If we had to check in. Oh, I hear a little Rivotto.
Oh, yeah, he's crying. I think I got to go get him. And then he's going to sit here and just eat a bottle. So we should be good. So let me go grab him.
Ladies and gentlemen.
We'll make an appearance.
Time. It's high quality. So I'll take the mic here myself. So we are actually going to discuss something other than the Masters in golf today. We're going to get into plyometrics for golf, what that looks like, how we utilize them, how we prepare people for them. Because there's a lot of people that will not ever use plyometrics as a general statement. I don't use it with every client that I work with because some people it's not a feasible thing to add to their programming when there are other more low-hanging fruit we can get. But as people get stronger and as they can handle load better, we do like to get more plyometric movements in because, as Tim and I have talked about in here before, vertical jump is one of our best predictors of clubhead speed, amongst other things that we do. But we like to have plyometric movements that we put into workouts. And we're going to talk a little bit about what that looks like, how to utilize it, and how we program it and how we prep people for it. So that's going to be kind of our jam. Dr. Rivotto is back. Look at this pimp. Ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who cannot see,
oh boy,
baby Bob is an absolute stud.
He's in the house.
And thankfully, he doesn't look anything like his father.
Oh, jeez. How rude. How dare you?
The cheeks. You don't have those
cheeks.
You don't have those cheeks.
I did. Once upon a day.
Baby Bob. Oh, take it, my man. There it is.
He's youngin' now.
This is fantastic. This is like a celebrity appearance.
Right? Family-friendly show.
It's a family-friendly show. We've only cussed like 7 or 8 times.
Hey,
so I just explained to the membership that we were going to talk about plyos today.
Sweet. Yeah, we are. Let's do it.
So that's going to be the jam. So biggest things when it comes to plyometrics. Number one for me, not everybody needs to do them.
Definitely.
From a programming perspective. Number two, most people cannot start with them in their programs that I work with.
Yes.
It's a general statement. Most people are not ready strength-wise, stability-wise, tissue tension-wise to just handle all of a sudden we're going to start jumping.
Right. Even some low load, like, if you're just bouncing little pogo jumps on your toes, like going back and forth, even that can be like
a lot of strain,
for just picking up a jump rope and doing, 20 or 30 jumps on a jump rope. Like that is a lot of strain. So you definitely have to start slow.
Yeah, you've got to prep for that a little bit. And so remember, as we've talked about before, club head speed, although our best correlate might be vertical jump, it's not the only correlate. Like after that, we look at squatting, like your 5 rep in a leg press or in a goblet squat or whatever squat that we end up choosing. So strength does play a role. And there's other ways that we can produce power, right? Medicine ball slams, trying to move more quickly with weight without leaving the ground. So outside of all those things, we're just going to talk specifically about plyos, what that looks like, what we like to use, how we like to program it. So for me, when I'm looking at developing like elite vertical jump, or really any of my main jumps, any kind of jumping, I tend to start with almost like a modified triphasic type training, which most of our listeners aren't going to know what a lot of that means, but I like to start with isometrics. I like to get people used to loading for prolonged periods of time, get their tendons a little bit stronger, get their muscles a little bit more strong, get a little more hypertrophy. And then I'll progress to a little bit more eccentric work, concentric work, and then we'll kind of combine it after that. But they might not start just with plyometrics, depending on who the person is. Like, unless they've been playing high-level sports or even just golfers that are like kids, most of them aren't doing a whole lot of other things outside of whatever they do in the gym. So if a 10-year-old comes in, I'm not necessarily going to be like, hey, let's jump as high as you can. You know, I kind of want to see how they move first before I get into those things. And that's just my – is that something similar to what you're doing?
Yeah, and where you work a lot with like older folks who I'm guessing are they, correct me if I'm wrong, but they don't have a ton of like exercise history. Like they haven't been doing it for 50 years.
No. And those people rarely am I even speaking the word plyometrics.
Yeah. So they're, you know, in that case, we want to get them used to like what it feels like to actually have your muscles contract and like, you know, feel some pressure on your joints and that sort of thing. So that's a good place to start is just like isometrics. I'll do a lot of like snap downs early where I'm not having to actually jump, but like practice landing without actually leaving the ground. So you're getting used to like absorbing that quick force and getting your muscles to work quick like that.
Right. And that's also very sport dependent. You know, like one of the things about golf is that we don't have a giant knee bend that's attained.
Yeah.
But we actually finish in a pretty extended position. Like the front leg is extended. So although you're driving into the ball, it's not like you're absorbing force, so to speak. Like if you were to jump and land softly. Like that's not really – I was watching that video of Scotty Scheffler's drives last week, and both his feet are leaving the ground.
Yeah.
So it's –
he's sliding backwards, sliding forwards a little bit. Like he's
right.
And you do – like if you look at a Rory, he does squat a bit. So you are kind of – it's
on the way down.
Yeah, if you're
like into the downswing. Yeah,
if we're talking like plyometrics, usually you're talking like a quarter of a second, right, or quicker. Like so, it's really quick,
super fast.
And in the golf swing, it's it's taking a second. So in your downswing, kind of loading your front leg, sometimes you're kind of loading and then exploding there. So maybe it's a plyometric, but it's probably longer than a quarter of a second.
Yeah, you want it to be quick. Yeah. And again, it's an accessory. Oh, it's choking.
We got it. Yeah, we're chugging a little too fast over here. Sorry.
Yeah, that's fine. I appreciate that. You're just training him for later in life.
Yeah, exactly.
That's not good. Don't tell mom that.
No, we'll keep that between us.
She won't watch this. He's like our new mascot. But to Tim's point, yeah. So when we look at developing plyometric strength, for people especially that are either kids or they're not super well trained, or even if they're middle-aged athletes or older who can handle it, we're still starting with like a low-level plyometrics. So he talked about pogo jumps, which is almost what you could equate to like jumping rope of sorts for people that aren't watching. Like it's just jumping up in the air kind of repetitively, right? And then we might do the same thing laterally and forward, where it's just like very light jumps. Snap downs, like Tim was talking about, which where you're getting used to absorbing force downwards. It's very quick. These are very fast moves, but you're getting used to accepting and producing force quickly. Absorbing force is kind of it's not a true thing because there's such thing as absorbing force. You're, kind of diffusing force, I guess might be a better way to say it. Yeah. But at that point, plyometrics to me tend to be a better way for me to start producing power with people. Like if they really want club head speed to start going up, like, yeah, sure, I can make you strong as an ox. I've got to get you producing speed or, producing force quickly.
Right. And the nice thing about starting with some of the stuff that you were just talking about and we've been talking about is you can control how fast you're moving or how, like even if you are doing some jumping in place, like just jumping and then landing, you can control how high you jump, right? So the higher you jump, the more force you've got to not absorb, but manage when you land. So you're falling from a higher point. So you can, if you're nervous about it or you're just getting started, you have some kind of injury history, like we can start with as small as you need.
Oh yeah. And I think that's one of the reasons that I like starting with even like simple things like a lunge jump or something where there's only so high that you can get. Like pogo jumps are easy. Even having people jump rope, that is a plyometric movement. Bounding, doing some like gentle bounding, like that is a plyometric movement. So I think all of that is fair. There are different levels of plyometrics. Like there are so box jumps, for instance, very low issue to the joint, so to speak, because you're landing up higher, you're not landing down. So you're not producing as much force as you come down. So I like doing those as a start. I'd certainly wait to do any kind of depth jumps. So a depth jump is just starting on a box or something that's taller, coming down, landing, and then producing force. That's really reserved for people that are pretty high level, even as a jump. And we may never get there. Like, I don't know if that's necessary for golfers. I don't see why it's not necessary, but it's just, it's one of those things where you have to like weigh the risk reward of having someone do stuff like that.
Right. And if your goal is like we're talking plyometrics, we're talking about moving quickly, being on the ground for a very short period of time, right? And just like almost tapping the ground with each landing. You're not going to be able to do that if you're jumping off of like a 36-inch box or a 24-inch box.
Not unless you're like NFL level.
Correct.
Fast.
Correct.
So my buddy and I had this debate. I want to know your thoughts about it. So the average vertical jump on tour is like 22 inches. That's what they look for, is like, can you jump 22 inches roughly? I'd be curious if there were some guys that had elite vertical height.
Oh yeah, probably.
Like north of 30 inches. 33, because I think above average is like 30 to 33, right? And then combine, you're talking guys 40 to 45, right? Yeah. But in golf, 22 is kind of like a freshman in college or like a junior, senior in high school.
Yeah.
In terms of vertical jump for a good athlete, right? Definitely. Like your average high school receiver today, it's totally different because you've got some freaks now. Right. But 22 inches isn't high relative to other sports.
No, not at all.
So if you started having guys that were like jumping 30, 31, 32.
Yeah, we could be getting there.
Well, that's my thought is like, are you going to start talking about people that are hitting like, I don't know, 350, 340? I mean, that's kind of where I'm thinking though, is like, I'm a little bit surprised that some of that we're not seeing, because some of these guys probably aren't big jumpers. Like, I don't know how much John Rahm can jump. I'm not going to say it's very high.
No.
Right? Because there's so many other facets to the game. I mean, it's not just driving the ball, but when we talk about clubhead speed, vertical jump is the thing that we look at the most. Right. So I'd be really curious if there was a cohort. Alex Eller, wherever you are, this is all you, bro. Golf physiologist.
Yeah. Next article.
I want to see some stats on developing like elite vertical height, which very, very few people do.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot to it, but it's doable.
It is. I'm sure there's someone like I don't know, like a Gary Woodland probably could, because he's got a basketball background too. Like he played basketball, I think at the collegiate level, and then he focused solely on golf or something. But guys like that, I think, would be sneaky.
I can see that. I think there's also a misconception that golfers are not as in good of shape as we think they are, or as they are actually. Like if you walk by some of these golfers, like they kind of have like the dad bod vibe. Like they got a little bit of saddlebag going on. Like they're kind of skinny fat is the way like I would describe it. Like how DJ was a few years ago. Like
even JT.
Oh dude, JT, I love you to death, but when you're an older man, if you get fat, it's gonna be funny because I can see it.
He's gonna have skinny arms,
skinny arms, and like a chicken neck.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel bad saying that. I love you, JT. You'll never watch this, but it's okay.
Robert didn't like you coming at JT.
I'm sorry, bro. I know that's your homie. It's all right. It happens. But when it comes to kind of getting back on the topic of plyometrics, we want to make sure that your tissues are prepared to handle that kind of load. Like a lot of it is jumping, a lot of it is learning how to land, learning how to control your body. But we don't like to always just start with that from the get-go if we don't feel your tissues are strong enough to handle it, right? Yeah, I kind of think of it as if you don't have like the right tires on your car and the right frame for the car, I can't expect it to go fast. Like it's when we build a plane in the military, we build it based on the specifics of what it has to do. If it has to fly fast, I have to build that plane to handle the speed at which I am flying, right? So the body is really no different. When we're talking about developing plyometric ability, the ability to produce force violently, quickly, It really comes down to, is your body able to handle, or your tissues really able to handle that level of force that quickly, right? This is where we see a lot of the people that are having like breakdown of tissues, be it, some kind of rupture of X or this or that. It's look at the NBA when you look at all these Achilles injuries that apparently just keep propping up in whatever avenue they're in. Like all of a sudden people are like, just like taking a step and their tissues are just going nowhere. That's not to say that it's because they're, overdoing it or something, but a lot of people, there's a lot of factors, but nonetheless,
Totally.
we still want to make sure your tissues can handle it.
Yeah. And this came up this weekend. I saw my wife's cousin, Joey. He's like 35. And he said last year, a bunch of his friends tore their ACL or tore their Achilles. And they were playing in a pickup basketball league. None of them work. He's the only one that works out at all. And one by one, week by week, they just start tearing their Achilles.
You're going to get picked off. It's one of those things that I never, if you are not exercising right now, do not go play pickup sports unless they are like skee ball or like things like that. Dude, I'm telling you, do not go do those things. Especially if you're like over the age of 28, like don't do it. Just like actually train for whatever you're trying to go do is one of the worst things you can do, bar none.
Totally. You're asking for a hammy or a calf injury or something. Like it's bound to happen.
It is because your tissues can't handle that much load. Like last night, we started a volleyball league, which we got the W. Thank you very much.
Hell yeah.
Now we're talking. It was so windy. It was such a joke. Like hit the ball in the air on one side and it just flew over. And on the other side, it would just come back at you. Like I made a serve that went to the middle of their court and then flipped backwards into the net and went down. Best ace of my life. Couldn't recreate it if I had to.
Ace.
But you've got to be able to handle that kind of load.
He agrees.
Dude, Baby Bob is the mascot for this podcast. He's also. We're gonna have to talk about the outfit though, like the hearts.
Hey man, that's a Nana. That's a Nana thing. He's got
for those
who
can't see, he's got like blue hearts all over him. Like there needs to be like Masters green on right now, or like a Teddy Bruschi jersey.
We'll get it going. We have a Patriots jersey. We have a Richmond Spiders jersey. We've got a BC Eagles jersey. So we'll have that next time.
BC Eagles.
That's Amara.
Wifey went there. I gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, I'm having to cheer for UConn's women's team right now because that's where Christy went. So I'm out here like, let's go. It's so hard to have the best basketball team in like women's college history ever be the team that you're like obliged to cheer for.
Hey, if you have the connection, you have the connection. You can't hate on that.
No, not at all. Not at all. Speaking of tangent, I don't care. It's our podcast. UNC Duke. Who you got?
I think Duke because they get the calls at the end. I don't like it, but it's a team of destiny with Coach K right now, and they're going to win the fucking tournament. It's going to piss me off. That's where I'm at.
This is a family affair. Your son's right there.
You see this Carolina blue?
Unbelievable. I agree. I'm going Duke and I'm going Villanova.
Yeah, I got a Nova connection. That's where my brother went. So he was buddies with a bunch of the guys that won the team, in 2016. So I'm always pulling for Nova.
I just like Jay Wright. I think he's a great coach. I like that his players are there forever.
Yeah,
like his best players.
Guy.
Like I like him. Not that I don't like Bill Self from Kansas. I don't have anything against him.
He seems like a decent guy too.
I'm not really on the Rock Hawk Jayhawk bandwagon.
No, I don't like Kansas.
Yeah, I don't. If I had to pick someone that I want to win, I want Nova.
Let's go. Go Cats.
I'm going Wildcats. I don't care for North Carolina. I like Coach K. I have nothing against Coach K, but I just go off into the sunset, I guess. Whatever. It's not my thing. Not my thing.
No, the announced retirement is a little ridiculous. And then last week, he complained about all the attention he's getting. It's like, dude, you announced your retirement. Now you got to take all the attention that you basically asked for.
Yeah, you've asked for all of this completely. Yeah, that's laughable to me. But anyways, that's our tangent.
And we got to keep in mind in 2 weeks we have our USFL.
That's right.
Our USFL popping up.
Oh, dude! Speaking of, did you see the new NFL overtime rule change?
No, what's that?
just in the postseason, both teams get a possession now. Just the postseason, not the regular season. Just the postseason.
Yes, I did see this. And after that, it just goes back to the old rule, right? So it's basically everyone gets one try, and then
it goes back to the old rule.
And then if you score next, you win.
Yeah. Like if you're gonna change it, like change it both ways.
Doesn't make sense.
I agree, baby Bob. First of all, I want them to just do the college rules. I really do. Yeah. But make them start further back. Like both teams get the possession, but it starts at their own 45. If you score, you score. If you don't, you don't. You go until someone doesn't make it. Because a field goal is only 20 yards away.
Yeah, right. That's a chip shot for most guys. And I like some of the USFL rules where like you can, I forget what exactly they were, but one of them, like you could go for a 4th and 7 or something like that. And if you get
12. Yes.
4th and 12.
You get the ball back.
Yeah, and you get the ball back. Like that's stuff like that is awesome. Set up these situational plays.
Yeah, it's so gimmicky, but it's like awesome gimmicks.
Yeah, I need a little bit of it. I want to taste. I at least want to taste.
We're a little bit. The NFL can keep its whatever. I don't think they have any idea where they're going with all that stuff because I don't know. I didn't care. Like everyone talks about the rule because it's like, Patrick Mahomes didn't get a chance or, last year it was Josh Allen. Yep. Well, at the end of the day, your defense still was on the field.
Yeah.
Like defense is already hard enough to play right now. Like it's just, I don't know. I feel like it's like you had 4 quarters to win the game. You didn't.
Yeah, and it's a coin flip. You start the game with a coin flip, right? So what? You're not going to like level the playing field from the initial coin flip, are you? Why would you do it in overtime? It's a coin flip.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't love it. I don't hate it. I mean, I can see why they did it, and now you can see, oh well, now both teams got the ball, but I still don't know if there's going to be a huge change. I really don't.
Definitely not.
The NBA upsets, or the NBA, the NFL can upset me like that all the time. So,
same with Bob. He doesn't like it either.
Yeah, Bob, that's right, buddy. All right, checking in on Jordan Spieth on 16. He's even. Just hit a ball-in shot onto the green. That a baby.
There you go.
Right now, Russell Knox is in the clubhouse. This random guy, Rasmus Højgaard,
is
he's 6 under.
He's been tearing up the European tour. He's won. He's at least been in the running a couple weeks.
Got a lot of dudes at 4 under.
I'm going to put this guy down.
It's all right. We'll continue. So, in terms of the tournament right now, we got Anirban Lahiri's at 4 under. Stallings at 4 under. Yeah, there's some exciting stuff. But in other news, for all of you who are interested in continuing to follow this lovely podcast where Tim and I just rant about all sorts of craziness, be sure to follow us, subscribe, all that kind of jazz. Tim's back after returning our mascot to the crib. Is he in the crib, Tim? You got to unmute yourself, bro.
Oh, shit.
Unbelievable.
So he's in the jumper. He's got a big booger we're going to try to get after this. It's just staring me in the face.
It's foul. It's green.
He's sucking on Mickey Mouse. Sucking on a Mickey Mouse doll. Just living the life. Living the dream.
It's the dream. I wish that was my dream, but I don't think it is. So I was just telling the people to subscribe, all that jazz, because, we're fun. And drop topics. If there's stuff you want us to talk about, we can talk about it. That's
100%.
That's a doable thing. Also, do I look like a supervillain right now? Like the way my lighting is set up? Like I feel like it's
a little.
It's like a little bit illuminating, like like just my beard.
Yeah, and if you had hair, I think if you had like a hair thing going on, you would be 100% supervillain.
Right. Just so everyone knows, I have a ton of hair. I just always have a hat on.
Keep it
bald.
Locked up.
Yeah, like it changes nothing. I've got more hair than I know what to do with. So, to all the baldies in the world, shout out. I can't help you at all. Tim, are you gonna have a little monkey butt up top at some point? You're gonna have a little
thick head of hair.
Okay, the Italian stallion is all right.
Yeah, we're blessed. We got a thick head of hair.
That's all you can ask for. Baby Bob is in good shape.
He's in good shape.
Unless Amara's getting thin, which I don't think.
I mean, she definitely. It's like a stress-induced thinning right now with busy season. But as far as the genes go, I think we're good. I think we're good on that front.
You're square. You're square. You're square. So let us return to plyometrics quickly here. The basic things that we want everyone to know about plyos is that you need to have some kind of stable platform that you're developing them from. So you need to, if you've not done any kind of strength. So let's give recommendations based on where you're at training history wise. So Tim, I am a completely untrained golfer. I've done some stuff in the gym. I've not really played a lot of sports. Where am I going to start?
Yeah, we're not doing plyometrics necessarily. We're starting with those things we talked about: snap downs, loaded isometrics, putting yourself in different positions, and really working on your strength and stability in those positions.
Now, this is subjective. How long do you like to do that for until we start introducing some things like that?
I like a good 6 weeks. Like we've at least gone through a month of training, and we've seen what your body can handle and kind of how it responds. What about you? You in that ballpark?
Same. So for me, I'm trying to pit like mesocycles of 4 to 6 weeks.
Yeah.
And then going into the next phase of whatever they're doing. So that's kind of where I'm at, but I also do it. Some of that's also based on their age and like prior training history. So for people that like I don't want to say ex-athletes. I think everybody's an athlete in their own way. If you play golf, you're an athlete. But if you played high school basketball, high school football, you continue to like run a couple of days a week. Like you're doing things, that timeline does scoot back.
Yes.
In terms of if we really want to develop that for you. Like for people that don't care about improving their plyometric efforts, like if they're not like really trying to achieve that, I'm like, okay, we don't have to bother with this really at all. But I still like doing things like snap downs. We might not do really high level plyometrics, but people should be producing power until they are 6 feet under.
Yeah. I mean, think of if you trip and fall, even if you're like crossing the street and step on the curb weird, if you've got to take a quick step, that's essentially like you're doing a landing, a snap down, something like that.
Plyometric movement in every way, shape, and form. And again, we can create different ways to do that. Like medicine ball throws is one people like to use. Mm-hmm. We don't necessarily have to see your feet leaving the ground. It's not all plyometrics are not just jumping.
Yep.
It's just movements performed in 0.2 seconds.
Yeah, usually it's like a 0.25 quarter.
Like 0.25, like a quarter of a second. So we talk about that on like the speed strength continuum of things. Like, is it just strength? Like absolute strength is deadlifting and squatting, but it does not matter how long it takes you to do. Whereas speed it has to be as fast as possible, irrelevant of how much force it takes to actually develop.
Yep. That's
all plays a role. I actually think that golfers should be on the end of that towards speed strength, where speed is really the number one thing we're looking at, strength being like the second contributor to it. Unless they are untrained, we start on the strength side and kind of move our way that direction, because it's a fast swing. It is not necessarily the fastest thing that we see in sport, but it is fast. I mean, you're only talking a second and a half here.
Right. And we've talked about this before with like junior golfers. A lot of times they have a lot of range of motion and mobility, but they don't have the strength to necessarily
handle it,
control the club face and control their limbs and all that through the entire golf swing. And they have this big, long golf swing.
Oh yeah.
So you can get the same thing. I evaluated the lady yesterday who's in their mid 50s, and she's the same thing. She can move really well and has a ton of mobility, but she's not very strong.
Yeah. I like using the example of Morikawa, who's got a very delayed backswing, or I don't say delayed, it's slow.
Yeah.
Then there's guys like Rahm who it's like wing wing, like it's just if you blinked, you missed every part of it, right? Both are different ways to develop strength and power, obviously. Like one of the things I like doing with golfers that can handle it is like paused, just the concentric version of their jumps. Like I have them get into like a very partial, basically like a quarter squat, staying upright, and then get vertical as fast as they can. Which is, for me, that is essentially after you've gotten into your downswing, you've got that little bit of knee bend. That is that contact position, right? Definitely. That is at contact. You are getting extension, but it's been somewhat paused. It's not like a quick dip and a jump.
No, there's a lag, definitely.
Yeah, there's 100% a lag. So I'm okay with developing that in people. And a lot of times, so anybody who's looking for like practical recommendations right now who's capable of handling this, one of my favorite things is like complex training or contrast training.
Me too.
Everyone talks about it differently. You do some kind of heavy movement, be it a squat, a deadlift, etc. You follow that with a plyometric that fits in the same kind of not force vector. It's a weird thing to say, but the same force pattern that you see in the sport. In golf, we are a very vertical producing force. Like that's what we see. That's why vertical jump is one of our best predictors. So we may go from a goblet squat that's heavy to a vertical jump.
Yep.
Or a host of others that we could pick.
Definitely. That's what I love to do that too.
Yeah. And I kind of prefer that to doing multiple plyometrics. Like do 4 sets of 3 box jumps and then go do X.
Yeah, I've done it that way too in the past where like in high school growing up where you do like all your plyometrics, you do like 15 minutes of all these different jumps and bounds and agility things. And that's fine, but I feel like you just at a certain point you just get tired. Like if you're doing 5 minutes continuous, you're just getting really tired.
Great point, Tim. Hammer this home. Doing plyometrics tired is wasting your time. Totally. The goal of plyometrics is to put optimal, maximal, as much as your body can produce force. If you are tired trying to produce max force, you are unable to do it. It's the same reason we don't tell people to go to the range and swing as hard as they can for 60 balls. Correct. It's not feasible. You're exhausted. You're not producing that much force because you're tired.
Exactly. Couldn't have said it better myself.
That's all there is to it. Like you shouldn't be exhausted when you're doing plyometrics. No. And fun fact, when you're tired, your tissues are tired. And if your tissues are tired and they can't handle load very well, and you try to do some crazy plyometrics,
bad stuff.
Ow.
Yep. That's how you end up on, YouTube going viral, jumping on a box that's too high and just destroying your shins or whatever happens after that.
Something stupid. Just don't do it. Like the point of plyometrics is to work on you increasing your ability to produce quick force.
Yep.
That's it.
And box jumps, when we're talking box jumps, I don't know if we've said this yet. We don't need a very high box. Mm-mm. Like most of the time, a 12-inch box is plenty.
Yeah. Especially when you're not talking about people getting their knees to their chest.
Yeah.
Like you're actually better off working on them being able to keep their legs almost straight.
Exactly.
And then landing. Because it's actually giving you a good idea. For anyone who has access to it, which many people do not, one of the best things you can do is actually do some of these things on like force plates. So if you have a club that has force plates, the goal should be we want you to jump as high as you can off of these force plates and land softly. Look at that number and go, okay, this was X newtons. Do more. And you go, seeing it actually makes you produce more force. Like from a research perspective, like same thing with club head speed. Like if you see someone who like you go out, you're like, hey, that was 90. You're like, okay, do it harder. They're like, okay. And they do it again. They're like, oh, that was 92. Yeah. Like most of the time people will increase whatever they're doing based on knowing the number that they did before.
Yeah. If you buy super speed sticks, spend the extra $200 and get the little speed monitor. Because it definitely helps. I mean, I was doing them the other day and the first swing was like 90. And then after that, I was like 112. 122, and then you're like, oh wow, and then it becomes a game.
Knowing, it's just knowing what that number is, and being. I mean, that's one of the nice things about the weight room. If I'm having you squat, I know essentially what that number is.
Yep.
Now it might be a percentage, but I go, okay, that was 3, and it looked good.
Yeah.
At an RPE of 7 or 8, whatever it ended up being. But quantifying that, like, we don't necessarily have to know how high you can jump. We just want to see it increase in some facet or another. Vertical jump, now that's not to say, like, I don't exclude broad jumping from my golfers. Like, they jump in every direction. Right? There is still lateral force produced in the golf swing. Like 90-degree jumps, I like, where you're jumping vertically and landing straight. Because we are seeing that kind of lateral, although we are not, laterally shifting, which we don't want in the golf swing, you are still shifting your weight. So it is good to get used to getting that shifted weight and then being violent north.
Yeah, no, you've got to be able to manage that side to side. you've got to be able to manage the rotation as well. So all of the above are helpful.
I concur.
Yeah, I was just about to say something and I can't remember what it was. So
Spiethy just spanked one about 3 bills
there you go.
into the rough behind the bunker on 17. I freaking love Spieth. I just want him to be good all the time.
I think he does too. He's trying hard. He's definitely trying hard.
I know. He's just such a good guy. Such a good guy. I like him. So we're gonna finish with this. Who has the most punchable face in golf?
Oh man, what a question! Since I keep taking yours, you go first.
No.
Okay,
No,
I'm going.
No. I'm making you think about this.
Dude.
We had to talk about this the other day, and I felt bad for my answer.
You felt bad? Oh no.
I felt bad because I know someone directly involved with this guy, and so
So could it get back to him?
Oh, it probably could. He might agree with me.
Yeah,
I don't know. He might, but he's like related to him.
As I'm thinking about it, Brent Snedeker has a pretty punchable face.
Ooh, Snedeker! Wow.
Yeah, he's a very nice. From all accounts, he's a very nice guy, and I have nothing against him. But I kind of like, I don't know. He's got that little kind of elfin face. I feel like it would just be great to lay one on him.
Yeah, you just want to hit him.
Yeah,
you just want to hit him.
Yeah, just take out a little frustration.
So I have 2.
Okay.
I'm gonna give you 2 because one of them is the guy that maybe it'll get back to him and I'll get in trouble. I'll probably end up meeting him someday. It's gonna be terrible. Billy Horschel.
Wow.
Is on my list.
Okay.
Justin Rose.
You think Justin Rose? What about him is punchable?
No offense to, it's something about his Britishness. I don't know what it is.
Too British?
I don't think he's too British.
Yeah, certain taste, certain flavor.
Like Poulter makes me laugh. Like I look at him and I'm like, that's just like a funny bastard. Like he's just always out there joking. Something about Justin Rose to me is just like if I saw him at a bar, like it would strike me that way. I would never punch any of these people.
No, these are not threats. These are not threats. All hypothetical situations.
All hypothetical. It's just for some reason their faces like invite me. Like it's just like I look at you and I'm just like, yeah, I could.
Yeah, it would feel good.
Yeah, something about it would kind of feel good. I'm trying to think about who else.
So do you think Billy Ho would swing back at you? He's a fit guy, but I don't know. That means nothing about any fighting ability.
I tell you what, the guy I would never well, I mean, I probably would, but the person that I would expect to punch back from is Rom, always.
Yeah, 100%.
Fire and brimstone. Like that guy he's swinging.
Yeah, hell hath no fury.
Yeah, no. DJ, same thing. Like he seems calm, but like those arms are long.
Dude, he's from a trailer park in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. He can fight. That
dude's a fighter. Like I'm not messing with him. Who else? Who's got a real punchable face? Or better yet, like battle royale. Who are you taking with you? Like it's going to the junkyard. You're fighting against the other group. Like who are you bringing with you in the golf world right now?
That's a good
hypothetically
question.
Speaking. Like who's your guy? Question. Like who you're like, man, I think
Terrell Hatton's definitely in my posse.
He's a brawler for sure.
Yeah. Just mean streets of England, just fucking throwing fists.
I fully agree with that.
I think how many do I get? Let's go with the 3 team.
3. You need 3. All
right, so I'm going Hatton. I think I would like Hatton. I think I would like let's see. Actually, now sorry to change the subject. Punchable face, Matt Kuchar. I could definitely just fucking sock that guy.
Yes.
Punchable face.
Oh, my heart.
See.
Fantastic.
So I'll take Hatton. I'll take Gary Woodland. I want him.
Okay. All right.
I think he's a secret, just Kansas. He's got a little mean streak in him.
Okay. I like it.
And then let's take, I'm going to go wild card, Cameron Smith.
The
I think he's
Aussie?
pulling some weird Aussie shit, and he can just like throw his hands.
Dude, please. He's lived here most of his life.
I think I'm still taking him. Wild card.
Okay, all right. So you went. Who'd you go? Cam Smith, Woodland, and Hatton.
I want Hatton, Terrell Hatton.
And you want Hatton. Okay, all right. So my three, you missed a keeper, Shane Lowry. All day long.
I didn't want to do two Brits, the Irishman and a Brit.
Oh, dude, he's the Irishman I'm taking. But
yes, that's a good pick.
Like last week when he like bumped Koepka, and I was like, it's like, yes, my guy right there. The fact that he's willing to do that, I'm about it. Shane Lowry, you're on team Jackson. I'm taking him. I'm taking Rahm.
Yeah, I was leaving Rahm for you.
Rahm. I picked him already.
Yeah,
I'm taking Rahm. Who would be my wild card? So yours was Cam Smith. My wild card is gonna be, dude, I don't know.
I think Kisner could just like randomly throw it. He's tiny, but
oh no, Daniel Berger.
Ooh, yeah,
Florida State. He's seen some stuff.
Yeah,
I think he's harder than Koepka. He's harder than Koepka.
I know. I thought about Koepka, but I just don't think he's got it in him.
When he did the highlight hair, he did the block. That was the end of the fighting days.
That showed you.
Out. Yeah, that's not it. Yeah, I like that. So anybody's watching this, put together your brawl squad.
Yeah.
Should compare.
Let us know who we missed, because I feel like there are some decent ones. Like obviously DJ, neither of us picked, but he's up there.
TJ's up there.
I mean, I think of a guy like Finau who's huge, but I think he's too nice.
Aussie Leishman.
Leishman has a little mean streak in him, definitely.
He's got a little sauce.
Yep.
He's got a little sauce. I could see that maybe a little bit.
Sergio maybe, but I just think he's too soft. Like I think he gets angry. Yeah,
but I don't see him like.
Yeah.
No, maybe he would. Maybe he'd throw hands. I don't know. It's so easy to pick like Ireland and England as like brawl fighting or like Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Like you can pick places and be like, okay, like these dudes fight. Like that's just like they solve problems with violence, which I'm all about. Like it's cool with me. Like it's so funny.
It's civil violence.
Yeah. Well, I think about like being a kid. Like my best friend and I would get into some tiff about something. We'd throw hands, like trying to hit each other. It looks stupid as hell. Like one of us is bleeding and we're like, hey, want some mac and cheese? Like, yeah man, you're my homie.
Exactly.
We just tried to kill each other.
It happens.
Yeah. I think that's probably where I would go. And I would take anyone that is an older golfer in their prime.
Yeah, definitely.
Because those dudes were just harder. I'm sorry.
Yeah, they're built different. You have like Tom Lehman has stories of like driving across Arizona, taking a shower in the rain, sleeping in his car for 3 days, driving from Florida to Arizona. It's like that's crazy.
Yeah, there's stories of like, was it Gary Player that was like had like a loaded gun when he was in Texas because people kept stealing their cash or something?
Oh shit!
Was it Player? I'm trying to remember who that was. But like the Ken Venturis of the world, once upon a time, like I feel like everything was so money driven. Like they were just throwing hands no matter what.
Oh yeah,
killing people.
Definitely
killing people. I don't know how we got on this topic, but punchable faces. That's
punchable faces. Yeah,
we're gonna put together a better list. I need to go through every face and just be like, yes, punchable, not punchable, punchable, not punchable.
Yeah,
not that we would ever do it. We would never hit anybody.
No,
unless they pissed me off or like attacked my lady or something.
Right. Like Kuchar apparently talks a lot of shit too. So I feel like you'd be out on like the 5th hole. He'd make a putt. He'd look at you and give you that shit-eating grin and say something, and he'd just be like, "Oh,
whack!"
Yeah,
just give it to him,
and it would feel great.
And to finalize, no matter what side you've taken on the Will Smith debacle, I would never pick a slap.
Yeah, an open hand slap, unless you have baby powder on hand so you can throw some baby powder and do it. only situation where an open hand slap is like, that's my choice.
Yeah, I don't like. I just don't like the like. Part of that made me feel like it was staged because in the event that the offense is that bad,
Yeah,
I am clocking you.
definitely. I'm not standing there and like laughing it off. I think so. I've gone back and forth with this.
Very hard.
I think what makes it look so because it looks really staged. It just looks
Oh yeah,
fake.
like his face first. Like Chris Rock doesn't respond. He's
Yeah,
like you know when someone's coming to hit you.
yeah. So I feel like that was like that's their acting training just coming to the forefront. And like Will Smith, I think, was actually trying to slap Chris Rock. He just did it in such an actor way that it was just like,
Well, and then he sobbed,
yeah,
sobbed during.
yeah,
Like I just first of all, I could give two shits less about Oscars, Grammys. Like
no,
Hollywood people make me ill because they're like think they know everything about everything. Like
yeah.
they're just painful to me.
What good are they? Who like,
Yeah, you act. That's great. Continue to act. I'm so proud of you. But like that whole thing, I'm just like, I don't care. But like slap, punch,
slap?
like it almost would have been great if like walked over, like flicked his nose or something.
Yeah, right. Wet William or something.
Hey, apparently Chris Rock's in the last laugh. He had like 10x tickets sold or something, like to his
Hey,
next comedy shows.
there you go. There you go.
I don't know. I don't know. But a slap, yeah,
A slap, man. Hey, it's
you
Hollywood.
know,
It's Hollywood.
but again, to me, like you, in the event that you feel it was prompted, because even then it's kind of weird because they were laughing and then they weren't laughing, and
Yeah, right.
I don't really know how to read into the situation, but like you
Yep.
should. I would think that you would never want it to happen again. A slap is kind of like I'm almost like tickled, like it's a tease. Like I
Yeah,
might
yeah.
do some other shit. If you knocked him out, like
Right. Or
that's a totally different ball game.
imagine he walked up and just leg sweeped him, like just hand on the chest, boom, leg sweep.
People's elbow. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's I could go either way. The more I watch it, the more staged I feel. Especially like picking a slap to me is the thing that I'm just like,
Yeah.
and it was kind of like walk up, like tuck the jacket, flap, like
Yeah.
yeah. I
Right.
don't know.
But clearly he was not in the best frame of mind. So I mean,
Apparently not. I don't know.
I don't know what's going on with those
Here we
folks.
are talking about it, giving it credence,
Exactly.
and any of this stuff. Anybody threatens your woman, punch them or slap them with baby powder on your hand.
Or slap them with a full hand of baby powder.
Full hand, dude. I totally want a movie to do that where a guy like talks up to his woman like stupid ass bitch and like
You've
looks
never
at it.
seen? Have you ever seen Next Friday? They
Oh,
do it.
that's right.
The little pimp does it in either Friday or next Friday. Every
That's
single time
right.
he's got a dude that does his baby powder. He throws his hand out like this. Whack.
I could totally see that. Yeah, we'll add that. We'll add that. Well, for anybody who's watching this and enjoyed that rant, if you even made it this far, you probably skipped. We should probably put tags in here like this is where we talked about golf and
Yeah, right.
plyometrics. This is where we went on a really bad tangent about punchable faces in golf.
Right. Beware.
Geotag. That's what we're gonna do. Not geotag. That's location. Never mind.
Yeah, definitely not. I'm not sharing my location with anyone. The internet's a weird place.
The internet knows. And we've already said that you live in Boston, so
Shit. By the way, to just carry this tangent a little bit, did you see the soccer game? I forget which one it was. I think it was one of the African qualifiers. The dude just covered in laser beams.
Oh yes.
Like
Yes.
probably 100 people in the crowd all had laser beams, and his whole face was green.
Yeah.
Crazy.
So yeah, A, that's crazy. B, that's relatively unsafe.
Yeah.
Like that gets in his eyes and stuff for like prolonged periods. Like
Yeah, or hits at the right angle and just like, really
does something funny. Yeah, like crazy. And to be fair, like those are high level lasers.
Yeah. If they're that clear, distance. That far away, yeah.
That's distance, bro.
Yeah.
Like, if a person in front of them, like, stands up, like a hole is going through their head. Without question.
Yeah, they were in, like, I forget where they were, like Algeria or something. They're, those people don't give a F.
Yeah, dude. That's just, it's the truth. I know, it's crazy. I'm proud of our U.S. men's team making the World Cup.
Yeah.
Although they freaking lost to Costa Rica.
Did they really? They didn't lose by 6 or more goals. I think that was the margin that they had to lose by.
They lost 2-0, but like,
that sucks.
Stop losing.
Yeah.
Like, you just won. Like, we just had Pulisic that was just like balled out at 2-0.
Why?
Just not that I'm a giant soccer lover by any means, but it's the U.S. soccer team. Like,
it's USA,
any U.S. team, I'm going to have, I don't care if it's curling, underwater firefighting, pick the sport, I'm supporting them.
Let's go. Yep.
They might piss me off. Neither here nor there.
Team USA. Got to support.
I wish we had, like, in America, yeah, coming to get us in see, we bleeped ourselves out. Because we're good Christian people, and this is a family show.
Right. We've had my young son on, who's pure, baby pure.
And you dropped a giant F-bomb in his ear.
Well,
you're hyped. You're pissed about that.
I was. It happens. I'm trying to avoid the Boston accent too. The in-laws have heavy Boston accents. It's like, oh man.
Oh, accept it. Please embrace.
Yeah.
Embrace.
You just want a kid talking trash, like a little 4-year-old just talking trash.
Yeah. Living here, I've pretty much lost it unless I'm like up. When I go back home, like I'll pick up certain parts of it. But I say more Southern words than I do Northern words now. Because I just didn't if I'd spent my whole life up there, it'd be a little bit different, but I didn't.
Exactly.
And so now I'd say Mainer. Wouldn't say Maina. Maina. Boston. Cat. Clicker, Packy, Westa, Dorchester. You can still do it. You just don't pull it out all the time.
You don't pull it out all the time.
Couple drinky drinks and
they start flowing.
We're surfing. I have no idea where we are right now. Nothing. Irrelevant. Great podcast. For anybody who's made it this far, you are one of.
You're a champion.
You're a legend. Actually, if you've made it to the end of this podcast, shoot us a message. I'll send you some merch.
There you go.
See how many
the merch is sick. I saw the pictures. It's awesome.
Oh, swagoo. Yeah, I got those coming in. Got golf towels coming in.
Sweet.
Got stuff. You got things. Good things. As always, follow us, Jackson.golfstrong, Tim.golfstrong on the Insta-Gs. Questions, concerns, drop us messages, follow, tell us we suck. I don't really care. Get ready for USFL betting.
Hell yeah. Get ready for the Masters.
Send us some punchable faces.
Yeah. And your team. 3-person. Who's your
3-person brawl team? Fist fight.
Are we talking like bar fight?
Bar fight. 3-person bar fight. Who are your 3 guys?
Boom. Done.
Who are your 3 guys? And most punchable faces. 3 most punchable faces. 3 guys you'd have in a bar fight, bar brawl, a bar tiff, if you may.
Tussle.
Well, a tete-a-tete. Something I don't even know if that actually means the right thing. I saw it in a movie. It's fine.
It sounded great.
And if Tiger will or will not make the cut.
That's the homework.
Word. People. Deuces.
Peace.
What's up, homies? Where my bitches at? Where my bitches? You got the voice down, but those outfits no good.
What's wrong with my shit?
Homie, please, your Halloween costume. If you pimp, you broke pimp.
You know you fucked up, Woody, don't you? Come on with it.
Baby powder. Smell that is. You changing diapers?